former head writer for Avatar the Last Airbender. This is really news, but it's very interesting. Aaron Ehasz, that's a tough name to say. He did an interview with Den of Geeks, and he revealed that there was supposed to be a season 4 for Avatar the Last Airbender.
Really?
Yeah, they had always planned on there being. Well, they didn't always plan on it, but there was.
Did
plans.
they write it?
They had written all the plots, but they didn't actually write it down. So we're going to go over the plots that they had planned.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, they were doing anything with this, or no? They just released it for fun.
This was just something that was supposed to happen, and then what ruined it was the movie, M. Night Shyamalan movie. They decided to focus on that instead.
M. Night fucked me again.
So he had revealed back in April that the biggest overarching story was that Prince Azula, thank you, to myself, Azula, was supposed to be redeeming herself because she had gone crazy at the end of season 3.
Yeah, she was chained down and making lightning and going crazy.
God, that was such a wonderfully shot scene, right? Where they're like panning out and you just hear like,
yeah,
that's so good. So they were supposed to have a redemption arc for her. You haven't finished these, have you?
No.
Shoot.
Keep going though.
Stuff goes down.
A lot of stuff goes down.
I will be done by this.
You will
Next
fall
time
in
I
love
see
with
you.
Azula. You will fall in love with because she is like
no.
she's
I got to Azula.
so powerful.
I got to her. Yeah.
She takes two very powerful people to take her down.
She's an
so
awesome
strong.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So season 4 was supposed to be all about her trying to like come back from insanity and going to her brother for help. So her brother, while kickstarting a new nation, is also trying to redeem his sister who brought down the nation originally with the Fire Lord. So it's this really cool situation he's dealing with.
And he was in a similar, like he almost went through the same thing because he completely dishonored himself and then earned his honor back, but through not his father's ways, kind of thing. Like it was,
So he's trying to take the lessons that he learned from Aang and from Iroh and further those forward.
Yeah.
The other stories, now that was revealed in April. That was really cool. So the other stories that were supposed to be happening were Aang. They're supposed to be showing the cost of Aang doing the spirit bending on the Fire Lord in the final episode. Again, sorry, spoilers. And he was starting to feel like the rage that the Fire Lord had the whole time.
Oh, it contaminated him.
Contaminated him a little bit. So he's trying to find his own peace and come to peace with him. So it was supposed to be a season-long story of him like reaffirming the Avatar and what the Avatar meant during peacetime. Because in war, the Avatar is very clear. You're trying to create balance. Imbalance is the Fire Nation has gotten too strong. Take them out. Yeah. So you got to figure out how to, and the whole time, trying to control what he had taken in to be able to outdo the Fire Lord. Yeah. And so him dealing with peace and everything like that. So it would have been pretty interesting. The storyline I've been most excited about is a storyline involving Uncle Iroh, everybody's favorite character, dealing with the spirit world. So now Uncle Iroh is in Legend of Korra, right? Or is it just the White Lotus?
Yeah, I don't think you ever see him. I think it's just the White Lotus.
I have a feeling he was meant to be dead then. So it would make sense that he's dead and you're following him as somebody who's dead in the spirit world. Yeah. Because, and also in Legend of Korra, spirit world's a much bigger thing. Yeah. So it would make sense that this was supposed to be our transition into Legend of Korra and the spirit world stuff, because that's way more important later on. But yeah, it was supposed to be Uncle Iroh and stuff like that. And then the last thing that they're going to be talking about, which would have been really, really cool to see, is there's a new baby born in the world and everybody's thinking it's the new Airbender. So this would have been our first new Airbender. Yeah. And Aang is trying to deal with this, and he actually thinks it's his former mentor, Gyatso, I think his name was, who was like the guy who taught him when he was actually just straight up an Airbender.
Oh yeah, when he was a kid,
yeah, when he was a kid, and he thinks it's the reincarnation of this.
So wait, so it wasn't one of Aang's children that was born? It was
it was supposed to be just a random. Now that he had fixed the balance, a new Airbender was born.
Yeah, because I forgot. Not everyone's born of a faction or with the power.
It's just it's not a lineage thing. It's just
there was just a group of people that could have lived in the Earth Nation, but their child was born with the ability to bend air.
Yeah. Huh. And so Aang's like, okay, I form a new, which in Korra that doesn't exist. In Korra, I want to say it was just his family that was Airbenders, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually, now that we say that, kind of weird that was the case. Yeah. But so it was him trying to figure out, what do I do from here on out, and thinking that this kid's actually going to be way more important. He's actually reincarnation. Yeah. So it wasn't like an action-packed season. It was going to be much more of a character-driven season. I thought that would have been pretty cool to see. Yeah. But of course, M. Night Shyamalan has to come in and step on our dreams. Now, here comes, how I like to spring questions on you guys that are way too complicated, and I shouldn't do that. I should tell you before. Here comes another one. If you were to take any show and just give it one more season to fix itself. To flush out the story better. Because that's what this would have done. It would have flushed out all the character stories a little more. what show would you give one more season to? I'll answer why you guys think, okay?
Okay.
One of my favorite shows that nobody talks about is called Another Period. And it takes place in early 1920s, or 1990s, whatever. And it's about a rich family. It's a just full-on Comedy Central joke fest. But it's about this rich family that is in Newport, and they're like, it's about these two daughters that are actually in their 30s, but they act like they're in their 15s, and they're just like, just total jerks, and everything's about them. It's like Downton Abbey. It's meant to be Downton Abbey, but like trailer park people live in Downton Abbey. Like they're just assholes. Mm-hmm. They're fed cream puffs. They suck out the cream puff and they throw it at the servant. Mm-hmm. And when they fornicate, the servants are there to watch them in case they need anything. It's just crazy mess. Well, one of my favorite storylines of the whole thing is the son, who's also just a nut job. They make him a senator because they're like, oh yeah, it's what's best for the family. Why don't you become a senator? He's like, no, I want to sit here and row my boat in the lawn and stuff like that. He's just nuts. And so they make him a senator, and his wife is really running the show. And he's just so freaking awful at the job. He takes corruption all the time, and it's just because he doesn't know any better. And he ends up, as the story's going on, just fully ass backwards getting into stuff. He becomes vice president. Mm-hmm. And he becomes vice president because Teddy Roosevelt's like, nobody's gonna want to assassinate me. He'll become president. It's perfect. and the season finale of season 3 is a really funny show. Like the third sister is such a ugly, terrible person. Like she's actually the nicest of them, but she's ugly. And they keep changing the actress to like try to make her just like, oh, it doesn't matter. She's just a random ugly chick. That's what they always do. Like, oh, she got a car accident last time. Now she do. But anyways, the final episode of season 3, one of the sisters goes to accidentally shoot the brother or Teddy Roosevelt, and actually ends up killing Teddy Roosevelt, which changes history. Of course, Teddy Roosevelt didn't die that way. And the crazy brother becomes the new president. And so I would have loved one more season of that show to watch him be president and just totally destroy the country, or just like what would have happened. The sister that's like the main character of the show, she gets taken away. She's the one that pulled the trigger. She had just escaped from a sane asylum to do this. Mm-hmm. So it would have been fun to see what happened to her. The other sister, who had gotten famous from being in an old-timey porno, which is just her dancing around in circles. Yeah. And then and she has her own hair care line, which is just putting olive oil in your hair. She's like now actually evolved into like, I'm better than this. Mm-hmm. It would have been great. They set it up to like such a freaking fun fourth season, and they got canceled, so they didn't end up doing it. It's still a really funny show. One more season of that would have been good. Any ideas you guys got out there? Or was I so enthralling that I took your attention the whole time?
You were pretty enthralling.
It happens.
There was one show that you watched that I've seen, but I haven't seen all of it. But Constantine, I think would be. I've heard you say plenty of times should be
part of the Arrowverse. Continue.
Oh God.
He's on Legends of Tomorrow now.
But also Boston Legal. Remember that?
Yes.
That would have been good. I would just keep continuing it. You don't just need one season, but yeah, good, very good characters.
Something to kind of wrap up, like the firm collapsing and stuff like that. Yeah, just cool.
Great actors playing powerful characters that just wanted me.
William Shatner, and the other guy is from The Office, Alan Shore, but California something.
Robert California.
Robert California.
Yeah, I can't remember his real name. But...
And he plays Ultron in Age of Ultron.
Is he?
Yeah, he plays the bad robot man. He's good. Any ideas over there, man? You want one more Jessica Jones? I know you do.
I was going a different route. I was saying Daredevil because I'm only thinking of things that I've just watched.
Yeah.
And if you're going to cancel season 2 the way it was, to where I was just
keep saying season 2. I think you're talking about season 3, right? I think that's the one where.
Is it 3 seasons?
Maybe there's 3. Is it 3? Maybe there's 2.
Whatever the last one is.
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Shit.
Just one more. I'm sorry, my bad. Oh yeah, just one more.
Just one more where I can see it, like where Bullseye comes back.
Yeah.
Because he was getting his spine worked on, then he had that stupid ass little target thing in his eye that showed right in his face. But he comes back, and then we have the Daredevil in his outfit and fighting all of these Daredevil villains. Would have been kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
Now I'm only basing off of what I'm thinking recently.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a better show out there that I'd rather see another season of. But
I just really wish we got this Avatar. This last season of Avatar would have been amazing. To kind of like see the forming of the Republic City.
So is this a new release that's just came out?
That just came out during Comic-Con. He had an interview with his Den of Geek website. Really good website. You guys check that out sometime.
So hopefully some of the fans that write some of the good fiction stories for this will just go ahead and write that story for us.
Yeah, the comic books actually, they could have really addressed a lot of this in the comic books because the comics are really good. They could have done that. So yeah.